Here I am, ladies. For a moment I thought, wow, maybe I was going to have some challenges getting on. When I clicked that live button at 3 o'clock, it told me Facebook cannot access my camera. So now here I am, and I'm very, very delighted to be here with you again. It is Friday, our 10th day. Yay! And honestly, I am so incredibly excited. Every single day, I feel very excited to come to this live cast at 3 p.m. So it's something I really look forward to. And for those of you who are joining me, thank you very much for being here. It's wonderful to have you. Today, we are going to be talking about creating those goals that really boost your success. What are you doing right now in terms of your New Year's resolution? I know it's been way past 6 months into the year, and have you abandoned those New Year's resolutions? And in less than another 6 months, people will be going again to establish new goals for their New Year's resolution. And we seem to set goals over and over again, and we never get to the point of really achieving them. Why is that? You know, I've coached a lot of people, hundreds of people over decades of my practice, and the one sure thing that I realize is that people who fulfill on their goals are people who have a very clear mission, a very clear path. Hey, Jackie, thanks for joining me. A very clear path that's laid out for them to follow. And often people don't know how to set those goals that really empower them. So today I want to walk you through an example of how to create those goals. Now, what you can actually create the goals and still not achieve them. And there are other things that are missing that I actually work with my clients to help them to overcome as they take on those big, big, hairy goals. But first, you must have a goal that's laid out, something that will give you a map to follow and strategies that you can follow in order to meet with success. So how do you recall we talked about making those goals? And the last time I talked about that topic, I really talked about SMART goals. And I said that there are a lot of people who are now talking about SMART goals not being the type of goals to establish. And I agree with them to an extent, and I disagree to another extent. Because the SMART goals that I tuned you into the other day were goals that pretty much fulfill on what you want to do. And I said you need to make them SMART, the S meaning specific. So your goal must really be related. And today we're going to walk through an example of that. The thing with Facebook Live is that I can't show you a screen, but I have a slide over here that I'm going to be referencing just to make sure that I'm putting in all the pieces in there for you so that I don't miss anything. So the goal must be specific. So you have to make certain that you know what you are about. You don't just go and create random goals. It's like, why are you creating the goals, right? And we want those goals to be aligned with your passions and your mission and what you're about. Then the A stands for action oriented. When people make their goals, they don't put actions along with those goals. And I'll show you exactly what I mean when I do that. Then the R is for relevant. The goals must be related to what you are about. It's kind of tying in with specificity. It must be specific, identifying a special thing. Don't ramble your goals and put 2 or 3 different goals all in one, because you won't get any kind of clarity or focus when you do it that way. If you want to address several things, then create different goals. for each individual thing, then the relevant must be relevant to what you are about. What is your end goal that you want to achieve? The time bound is completely necessary because you want to put closure on that goal that you are creating. So how do you do that? Let's walk through an example here that I have. And I want to look at, let's say, well, first let me ask you some questions that you need to address. Do you set up goals for yourself? Hi, Fabio. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you. Now, do you set goals up for yourself? And when you do set those goals up, do you find yourself assessing yourself how you're doing on those goals as you go? Is that what you do? Do you look at data to see how you are progressing on the goals? How do you create those empowering goals? See, these are questions that are completely necessary, and yet in my whole practice and working and coaching with different people, what I do notice is they miss these important elements. They really don't focus on what they want to achieve, and they certainly aren't tracking what they want to achieve. So it's like hit and miss. There's no focus, and they don't know when they have gotten to the goal. So I want to walk you through an example. So let's say you have a goal. Your general mission in life is to personally grow and develop yourself, right? And there is a conference that's coming up. And this conference, let's say the ticket is really inexpensive, because you know some of these can cost thousands of dollars. So let's say the conference costs $300, right? And you want to develop a plan to get to that conference. The plan will involve your saving or accumulating the dollars in order to do it. So you want to get to this conference, and it's 90 days. So you've got 90 days to achieve this. Thank you. Okay, yes, Jackie, I see you set them all the time, and you used to set and forget them. That's good. And so obviously now you're doing really much better with that. So in our example, how much do we want to do? The goal is $300 over 90 days, right? So you want to set that goal. Now, if you were to work that out, that would amount to about $3.33 every single day that you're going to need to set up. Now, let's say you get paid weekly. You might want to know how much money you want to set aside weekly to do that goal. So that works out to about $23.31 maybe per week that you are going to need in order to be able to fulfill on this goal. If your paycheck is bi-weekly, then you probably want to work that out on a bi-weekly basis, right? So that you have those intervals of time when you know you're accessing the dollars, so you can actually put it away to accomplish what you want to do. All right, so now your actions would be that you're going to be saving the money over the period of time. And now you have to develop the strategy. See, this is what a lot of people miss. So we already said the goal is specific. We want to save. It's measurable. It's $300 over, it's action oriented. Well, we don't have those actions in place as yet. That's what we are going to do now. It's relevant because your mission and your goal is to personally develop yourself. And so you're going to that conference that's going to help you to do that. And it's time bound. It's 90 days. Okay. So now many people, when they're doing this is where they fall down on the whole thing. They don't set up strategies. What I do is I call those goal rays. So you have your major goal to save, and now you're going to figure out what are the strategies that you are going to utilize in order to get you to the place where you need to get to. Now, those strategies may involve other resources. It may be people. You may need other people to help you to save the money. You may need access to maybe another source of income to get you to save the money. Perhaps you may sell something in your house to get you to save the money. Maybe you need to go research on strategies to help you to accumulate the money. Those are all things that you could possibly do to come up with that $300. And so now you haven't yet finalized how you're going to do that. So now the structure. You set up your structure based on all of those goal rays that you have established. And now, once you set that in place, what you're going to do is you're going to put that in a system. A system. It could be your planner, it could be your cell phone, it could be your Google Calendar, and you're going to set it up. So you're going to, let's say we said $333 a day. Imagine you had money every day. You put that in your calendar to put it away. Every 2 weeks, you put that in your calendar so you remember to put it away. Now that's a specific example relating to dollars, which may not so much correlate with some of the bigger things you have to do. So let's look at another example of that just to see how that's going to work. Now, as I'm going through this, I want you to be thinking, how do I set my goals up? Think about how you establish those goals and think about the results that you are getting. Are you happy with the goals and the result that you're getting? And if you are not, then possibly there is something that's missing. So let's imagine that we have a task. Hey, Portia, thank you for joining me. Let's imagine that you have a task to do. You're going to write a book. Okay, this is something that a lot of people want to do. So let's imagine that you want to write a book. So you have a project and you want to finish this book in 1 year, 12 months, okay? And just for the sake of this example, let's say that book has 12 chapters. So it's 12 chapters in 12 months. So now you know you're going to break that down and divide that up. 1 chapter per month is what you're going to do. Now, if you're estimating that there's going to be 120 pages per chapter, that's a massive book, by the way. Well, let's just say 10 pages per chapter, just to make it work. I want to put my math out there, and thank goodness Portia is on here. She's a math person, so she would be able to correct my math if I go up. So let's say 10 pages. You got 10 pages that you're going to write for each chapter. So how many would you have to do every day? You're going to have to divide that 10 over 30 to figure out how many pages. And that may come out to a number that's not really even. I think that's why I said my 120 pages. So let's just go back to that 120 pages. We know 120 page won't be in a book that you're writing with 12 chapters, unless you're writing something for Congress or something like that. But you wouldn't have all those pages in a book that you're going to be writing. So, but 120. All right, so let's go back to our 120. So we know that we need 1 single chapter every single month. What do? We divide that 120 by 30 days. So now we know we need to create 4 pages every day. But see, that's not all. That's just not good enough. Because if you leave it like that, where is the accountability? This is why people fall off the bandwagon. One of the reasons. There's another big one which I'm going to discuss next week, which is really going to blow your mind. I'm not going to go into all of the details of that, but I'm just going to show you some of the things. So now you need strategies. See, the goals aren't good enough. So what kind of strategies are you going to put in place? Well, as I said before, there are obviously some questions you're going to have to ask. And the best set of questions to ask in deriving what the strategies are going to be for you to create this goal is those 5 or 6 questions that people like. We ask, hey, I like the love bubbles, thank you. It's like who, where, when, what, why, and how, right? Those 6 little questions. If you ask those 6 questions when you are developing your goals, that will help you to brainstorm strategies that you can come up with as you are creating your goals. So you're going to collate your resources. So let's imagine now with our book example, we're going to ask ourselves what? So what resources or pathway do you need to create it, right? What are the resources or the pathway? What's a possible resources that you can access to help you to do that? Maybe you'll need to do some research, right? So you'd have to probably go to the library. Hello, thanks for the love bubbles. You may have to go to the library to help you to do that, right? So that's one strategy, perhaps. Do you have access to the resource? Then the next thing is how? How much time will you need to conduct the research? See, when people set up their goals, they just think, oh, I'm going to achieve this thing, right? And then they don't consider all of the little things that go towards feeding that goal, right? So you have to make sure you estimate the time that's needed, and you have to plan for that time. Otherwise, if you put in the calendar the deadline for the goal, which is 12 months from now, you don't know anything that's going on a daily basis. Who are you going to have to speak to for help with the project, right? List them out. List the names of these people and list the time frame when you're going to meet with them. These are all important strategies. Yes, Jackie, I see that. And then what or who else are you going to need? Are you going to need help from to successfully complete this project? You know, you're going to think of all of the possible actions that you can take or delegate. A lot of times we think we have to do it all. You don't have to do it all. You can delegate someone to do that research for you so that you can live your empowered life, writing the things and doing the things that you want to do. So now, once you've done that, you collate your resources, the research materials, the guide on writing the book, who are you going to talk to, the people, the time that you're going to need. Maybe it's going to be 10 hours to go to the library. Perhaps you could even use a ghostwriter, a research assistant, someone to help you. And what else do you need? You know, you're going to look at all of that. Now, once you have the strategies, it's important that you know how you're going to track them. Thank you for those love bubbles. Okay, I see, Jackie. You never thought of mapping out a goal in such detail. Oh, yes. Believe me, it's really, you're getting to a place where you're going to put these on your structure. And when people set their goals, they don't think about these things. And then they don't know why they fall off. And they don't even know how they're doing, how they're progressing and all of that. So you want to put it in a structure, a system, so that you can keep track. Now, one that I really love is my Google Calendar. I love my Google Calendar because I can put it there and I can sync it with my phone and I can have it remind me. I can set up as many reminders as I want. Even if I want to do, if I'm going to make a phone call tomorrow or I have a trip, I set it like a few days before that I can remember to pack or prepare for whatever I'm going. So that's good. Then you put it in your structure and you make sure that you are involving the people that you need to help you to get the resource. So now you put that in your structure, and what does it look like? Remember, we said 4 pages a day. So now you're going to write out 4 pages every day. If you actually know that if you keep up with 4 pages every day, by the end of 12 months, you are definitely going to finish the book. You have to, because that's mathematical, right? Now, if you know you skip a day, you know you're already 4 pages behind. So now you can keep track to know that, okay, if I'm going to make this book happen, then it's going to be really key for me to double up. I'm going to have to do 8 pages today because I missed 4 pages last week. And that's how you're keeping track of what you're doing as you are creating this content. And it's really key that you put that in your calendar system. Now, it does sound like a whole lot, but when in essence, when you really go down to doing it, it's not that much work. It really is not. And pretty soon it becomes really pretty much automatic. But you have to make certain that you are putting those goals and the strategies in your calendar. All of those meetings that you have to do with people, all of the research that you have to do. Now, if you know you have just 90 days to do, or 12 months to write the book, now you can backtrack and figure, when do you need to start your research so that you can actually get to start writing your 4 pages a day. So let's say you project that you're going to start writing your 4 pages next week. Then you know if you've got 10 hours of research here and you've got to call June and Deborah and Sands to get certain information, then that's got to happen right now, this week, so that you can be on track for that. See how that puts you in place and puts you in charge? So now I want to ask you, comment below. How are you setting up your goals? I already know that you probably don't watch or set those goals that way in the past, but now you have something to go by that's going to help you to achieve it. Now, there's that thing called that little subconscious mind that you're going to have to overcome, but you put that goal in that planner and you follow that goal, and you will definitely, without the shadow of a doubt, achieve whatever it is that you're after. And you can, as long as you stay in commitment and integrity. You know, we talked about that already in one of the previous messages that I discussed with you. You've got to have integrity. Integrity means doing what you say you're going to do every time, and doing it for yourself as much as you would for someone else. See, we tend a lot of times to be more true to other people than we are to ourselves. We will establish a goal and say we're going to do something for someone, but when it comes around to doing it for us, we will skip it and say, oh, we can do it tomorrow. You don't want to do that, because what you're doing is you're eliminating and reducing your own self-power and your own self-confidence in your ability to follow through on what you tell yourself you're going to do. So it's really, really key that you follow through on what you're doing. Now, I always want to leave you with this, that if you need any other questions answered, let me know. Private message me. I'd be more than happy to get on a 30-minute session with you, to talk with you, to empower you, to show you what is needed, and there's gonna be no sale on that call. That's my promise to you. That's my word to you. So if you have any questions, you can leave them down there. Jackie, I am so, you're so wonderful. I appreciate you being here and just being a part of this community. Fabio and Portia, I thank you so much for joining me. And once again, I also know that there are people who are going to join me later. And when you do join me, do feel free to leave your comments so that I can see them. And I just so love those heart bubbles. Thank you so much. And today is Friday, and you have the most amazing weekend. And now what I want you to do with some of the things that I've talked about is to sit down and really think about some of those major goals that you want to achieve and use these strategies to map those goals. Then let me know how it's working out for you. Once again, have a great weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday at 3 p.m. Love you guys.